Hey everybody, and welcome back to Absolute Garbage Tabletop. Today we're going to be playing This War of Mine, the board game. This is based off of a video game of the same name, This War of Mine. This game is a 1 to 6 player game where you're going to be taking control of a group of survivors as they try to survive a civil war that has broken out. These survivors are not soldiers, they're not people who are equipped to fight, so you're not going to be playing as Rambo going out and shooting a bunch of soldiers and taking them out one by one. This is a game where you're just trying to survive. You're just trying to make it to the end of the war, basically, till they start a ceasefire. This is your shelter where you're going to be playing. This is your little safe area. Well, somewhat safe area where you're going to be living in, and there are going to be times where you get night raids where people will try to steal your belongings, which are down here. So you'll have various locations here off to the side that you can explore to try to find more supplies to survive, wood, water, food, components to build things, weapons, just little things to make things better, cigarettes for people who, need to relax a bit, coffee for people to feel a little bit better in the morning. This game can get pretty dark. It is, of course, about war and trying to survive it, and war just... it's ugly. And yeah, this is basically just you trying to live through that. Okay, so we have everything set up. We have our starting supplies here. We have our decks for various different things, which we will talk about. This game is a little bit different where you basically have to learn how to play it while you're playing it. They don't really give you too much explanation except how to set up this board, which there are little areas like here. Like right here it says closed door, so you would pick one of these closed door cards randomly and then just put it on that area. Same for rubble, same for heap and furniture. You just look for the areas that say furniture, heap, rubble, closed door, and you put a random card from that set there. The heap and furnitures will have some supplies. I believe even when you open closed doors, you get a little bit of supplies there as well. Rubble is just basically rubble. You have to try to move it out of the way. But it does take 2 turns since you have to flip the card over. There will still be rubble remnants, and then you get rid of that. Over in the outer areas, you have a bunch of different cards which will do different things while you're playing. You could build things, which will be that deck right over there, and you could build better things, like upgrade them, which will be that orange deck over there. You could potentially go outside and try to find someone to visit, which will be these visitor cards over here. When you get a visitor, it could be another survivor, who can join your group and help you out. Sometimes it'll be someone like a neighbor who will need some help, and they'll ask you for supplies, or it could be someone who wants to trade. There's also objectives that we got to do, so we'll look at those once we start. A lot of this stuff we will explain as we go along, so I guess at this point let's just choose our characters, check what our chapter objectives are, and at that point we can get started. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is get this deck of character cards, and we're just going to draw until we get a red bordered character, which will be the group leader. So, okay. Alright, first one we got let's see, Marco, who's a firefighter. His prowess is 2. This will help you with rerolls. Whenever you have to roll for certain things, he is allowed 2 rerolls. Empathy is usually when something bad happens, you have to roll this black die here, and it will determine whether or not this character gets more miserable. You have inventory here, which is how many things he can carry. And these spirit abilities take place at the end of the day, and we'll explain that when we get there. So this is going to be our leader character. Now when you start the game, each character has to have a Hunger 2 token, and basically what this is letting you know how many actions that character can take. So if a character has a token that has all of these little white circles, that means they can take all 3 of their actions. But if any of the tokens that they have a black circle, that means they can't take this action. So this character would only have 2 actions. There are different status tokens that characters can get. So if they had like this, like so let's say they had Hunger 1, they have all of these white circles, but they also had Fatigue 1. Then there's this black circle here. So that means they still can only take 2 actions, even though this one says they can take all 3. Because of this black circle here, it's saying that they can only take 2 actions. So Marco's going to get this Hunger 2. Then we're going to get our deck here. Now we're going to look for cards that have a black border. We have to have 2 of those. So let's see. Okay, so we can't get this card because we already have a red bordered character. Okay, again. Alright, so now it looks like we're getting Marin, a garage owner. He has 1 prowess, so he can do 1 reroll. Empathy 5. He has an inventory of 3, and he has an ability, Handyman. During the day actions phase, when using the pokeabout action, Marin adds 3 to his black die roll. So that's an action that you can take, is you can go here, pokeabout, you roll the black die here, and depending on the number you get is the number of wood or components you can get. The higher you roll, the more you can get, and he adds 3 to whatever die roll he gets. So that's pretty good. So he's going to be really good to do this pokeabout action. Alright, so now let's get our last character. And it looks like we're getting Bruno, TV host and chef. He has a prowess of 1, so he can do 1 reroll. Empathy 2, and he has 3 inventory. He has a special ability, voila. You may sacrifice one of Bruno's actions during the day actions phase to roll the black die. A result of 6 to 10, you add 1 vegetable to the storage area. That's pretty good because we're going to need a vegetable for food to feed everybody. So, alright, these are good characters to have. But as we know, even if I have the best characters in the game, I'll still find a way to lose. But luckily, this is a game that you most likely will lose. This game is pretty tough, and it's not uncommon to lose this game a lot of times. So don't worry about constantly losing this game. This game is meant to be really tough. So anyways, we're going to have to give these guys a Hunger 2 token, so we'll put them next to their... Actually, I'm going to put them under their cards. I know you can't see them on the camera, but right off screen, they're right there with the Hunger 2 right under their cards. Alright, now that we have our characters, we're going to get their little miniatures. And you can tell what their miniatures look like by the card. They're going to look exactly like that. So we have Marco here. We'll get him in the green colored base here. We'll just put him over in the guard area, which is right here. Next we have Marin, who looks pretty cool. Looks pretty casual here. We'll put him in the blue colored base. And then we have Bruno, who we'll put in the orange colored base, and then put him here in the guard. Okay, so now that we have everything set up, we have our characters right here on their starting point. We have everything set up here. Let's start off by looking at this journal. This is basically going to tell us what we're going to do at every point. So we're going to start here in the morning. So we're going to go look at event, draw and resolve the top card from the events deck. Do not forget to add cold tokens to the cold space on the board as described on the revealed event card. And then if you're playing with other players, you would pass this journal to the next player. So whoever's holding the journal and reading off the instructions, they're going to be the character with the final say in whatever you're going to do. So if there's there's a time when you're choosing actions, everyone who's playing can weigh in their own opinions and say what they want people to do. But the one who's holding the journal is the one who has final say. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get that Chapter 1 event card. And we're going to look at that. And let's read that off. So, when the Civil War broke out, many people thought that it would only last a couple of weeks. It has been a year since the military surrounded the rebels in the capital, cutting off all supply lines. The civilians still trapped in the city suffer from hunger, disease, and constant threat of shelling. It's another day of desperate waiting for the end of this terrible war. So determine the objectives for each of the 3 chapters in the campaign. Find a final objective card in the objectives deck and place it on the objective space on the board, which we already have. We've done that. Then draw 2 more objective cards and place them on the final objective, which we've already done. They're all there. These cards should be placed face up and you may look at them at any time during the game. Remove the remaining objective cards from the game. At the end of each chapter, resolve any reward/penalty from the corresponding objective card. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. So since we've already done all that, we can just remove this from the game. Let's look at our objectives here. So our chapter objectives will be soldiers disarm the civilians. So we have to discard a functional firearm from the storage. So we'll have objective marker here on the 0, and once we discard a firearm from our storage, we can move the objective marker to this 1, and that means that at the end of the chapter, we can get our reward for peace. During the next night raid phase, do not draw a night raid card, but if we don't put a weapon, or if we don't discard a firearm from storage, then our penalty is we get a beating. Distribute 3 wounds between characters. The next objective is taking care of ourselves. At the end of the chapter, each character's misery must be lower than 2. If we are able to do that, reward unity for each character. Choose any one state and lower it by 1. Our penalty, capitulation. Raise one chosen character's illness by 2. And that can be pretty bad because if we don't have any medicine to lower that, it just keeps getting higher. When any status of any character goes up to 4, that means that they will die, and we'll have to read a epilogue to see, what happens when they die. So if any character's status goes up to 4, then that character will die. And so our final objective here is going to be survive. At least one character from the starting group must survive until the end of the game. With each state, the hunger, the misery, the wounds, and the illness equal to or less than 2. The fatigue is ignored. Okay, so those are our 3 objectives we're going to need to do. Alright, so we drew our Chapter 1 card. I believe you're supposed to draw the event card first and then start your first turn. So let's do our first event. So right here at the top, you're going to see add 2 cold tokens to the cold space. Cold space is up here, and we have these cold tokens right here, which are basically letting you know that it is really, really cold. At the end of the day, once you've done all your actions and you've done everything you need to do, we're going to have to draw a fate card over there. And that'll tell you if there are a certain amount of cold tokens up there, like raise illness or do something, raise misery. It'll tell you what to do. But usually we want to try to keep the number of cold tokens up there pretty low. So let's go back to the event card. So it's rat infestation. Discard all green tokens from storage. Oh my. Okay, well, except for canned food, moonshine, and 100% alcohol, which we don't have, but it does take away all of our food that we started off with, and we now have to discard them because it was eaten by rats. So we're off to a really bad start already. Then if you have a deadfall trap with a weight token on it, this trap provides 1 additional raw food during the dawn phase. We don't have that, so we don't have to worry about that right now. But yeah, this sucks. Okay, after you resolve this card, remove it from the game. So now we take this card and we just remove it off to the side. And now we're able to do our next phase, which is the day actions. Basically, it's telling us that we get up to 3 actions, but if there are any of these black dots there, that means those actions are unavailable. So right now, since everyone has Hunger 2 with that 1 black dot at the end, that means everyone can take 2 actions right now. Alright, so now when you're choosing your day actions, you're going to see these little red circles with a hand on them. That's basically telling you those are the actions that you can take. Now when you're choosing actions, there are a bit of limitations. You can't just, go up here and try to take out this heap. Basically, this is like the front door here. So you got to kind of like be able to move around. So right here you'll see some ladders, which means you can go down here and try to get to this area, but there's some bars blocking this area. So unless you have a saw blade to cut those bars, you can't go through there. So then you can go here, go up here, and then search that heap or try to open that door. If you want to go to that higher level, you got to get rid of that rubble. So you got to kind of follow the path that you can see through the board. The only exception is going to place a new fitting, which is all the way up there. You just put a character up there, and it's basically your character just kind of being out there and just thinking up an idea of how to build something. There's also an area right here. It says new idea, or you can put 2 of those orange cards at the end, which are upgraded versions of the green cards, and you can put 2 of them into that deck where the green cards are, and that means you can start building them if you have the supplies that you need. So I think for now what we're going to do is we're going to send Marin, who's the blue character here, to do that pokeabout, just to get us some more supplies, which will be good since he can get a +3 to the die roll. We'll have Marco search this heap here, and we'll have Bruno come through here and use the shovel to dig up that rubble. Now when a character is going to remove rubble, you have to use a shovel. If not, it'll take 2 characters to flip that card over. So you're really going to need that shovel when you're trying to get rid of rubble, but there are ways to lose the shovel, so yeah. Okay, so let's start off with this pokeabout. Let's have Marin roll the die. So he got a 7, and he can add +3 to his die roll, so it's a 10. I know you can't see it, but on here on the board it says if you roll a 9 to 10, you get 4 wood or 4 components or any combination of those. I guess let's go for 2 and 2. So that means we will have 6 wood and 6 components. Now there are a limited amount of little components and wood tokens that you can get. So off to the side here, there's a storage ×5. So if you put your little tokens there, that means that you have 5 of those. So we'll put 1 wood and one component there to indicate that we have 5. And then I believe it was 6 we had all together, so we can just keep the 1 wood and 1 component there. Okay, now we're gonna search that heap over there, so let's flip this card over, and this is gonna tell us what we get. So we get 1 lockpick, 2 components, and 5 wood. So since we're getting 2 components, we can just put those there, and that'll be there. And then since we're getting 5, we can just take 1 wood and put it over there in the 5 times storage. So it looks like we have 10, 11 wood, 5, 6, 7, 8 components. And let's not forget the extra lockpick, which will come in handy when we want to open those closed doors over there. So you'll see here at the bottom, it'll tell you add these to the storage and remove this card from the game. So once you put those components into your storage area, then you discard the card from the game. Since these 2 characters have already done their actions, we'll put them back here in the guard area so we don't get confused as to who needs to go. So I guess now we'll just have Bruno use that shovel to dig up some of the rubble. So we'll flip the card over and it'll say rubble remnants. So you'll still need to do another dig through action to get through here, but once we get rid of the rubble remnants, we can remove this card from the game. So that'll be right there. Okay, so at this point, let's just send I kind of want to use Bruno's action where he can roll a die, and if he gets a 6 to 10, we can get a vegetable because we kind of do need food for later. So let's risk it for the biscuit. We'll have Marin do the rubble remnants there with the shovel, and we'll have Marco here open up or search through that heap there. So let's do Bruno's action first. We're gonna roll, see if we get a 6 to 10. Nice. We actually got a 9, so we do get a vegetable. There's different kinds of food in this game. There's vegetables, raw food, and canned food, and they have different effects, which we'll get into a little bit later. But for now, we have a vegetable, so we can at least feed 1 person. Next, we'll have Marin use that shovel to get rid of the remnants, rubble remnants, sorry. And then we'll get that out of the game, and we'll put the shovel back here. And we'll have Marco here search the heap. So we'll flip this card over. Oh wow. Okay, so we gain 1 weapon part, 1 sugar, 5 components, and 2 wood. So we'll put the 2 wood here, 5 components, which will be over here. Let's see, now we need the weapon parts and sugar. So here we have the weapon part here and the sugar. We'll put that in our storage, and then we'll have to discard this card from the game. So now everybody has used their 2 actions, which means that we are going to move on to the next phase, which is dusk. So here now we have to give each character 1 water. For each character that did not drink water, roll the black die. For 1 to 5, their hunger goes up by 1, or if it's 6 to 10, we're going to raise their misery by 1. So let's do that. So we have 2 waters right now. Man. Okay, I think we're going to give 1 to Marco, which is the green character here, and then 1 to Bruno, who's the orange one. And we're going to let Marin take that hunger or misery. But yeah, if we get any water, this next one, or food, we're definitely going to have to give that to him. Okay, so let's roll the black die. And we got a 2. And I believe that's going to raise his hunger. Yes. Yeah, so it looks like his hunger is going to go up by 1, which means that this hunger 2 is now going to go up to hunger 3. Now, as you can see, there's still only one black circle, which means that he'll still have the 2 actions on the next day. Okay, so after you have given people their water, now you got to go to hunger. Each character should eat 1 or more food and discard it from the storage. If you give them a canned food, lower their hunger by 2. If you give them raw food, lower their hunger by 1. And if you give them a vegetable, their hunger stays the same. No food, raise their hunger by 1. And then you continue on to the next player. So obviously we only have 1 food, which is that vegetable. But since we already raised Marin's hunger to 3, and if it goes up to 4, he immediately dies. So we're going to give this 1 vegetable to Marin so he doesn't go any higher. But of course that means that Marco and Bruno go up to hunger 3 as well, which is a little bit scary because if it goes up 1 more, then that means they're going to die. So this game could probably end within this first day. So after you've given your characters water and food, you're going to move on to the next phase, which is the evening. You're going to assign a character to one of these tasks that are available, so they can sleep in a bed, place a maximum of 1 character on 1 bed, and then set that character's fatigue to 0. So right now we don't have anybody with fatigue, so we don't need to do this right now. Sleep on floor, place any number of characters on the sleep on the floor space, lower these characters' fatigue by 2. Again, we have no fatigue, so we don't need to do this. Guard duty. Place any number of characters on the guard space to defend the shelter from attacks during the night raid phase. The higher the prowess of a guard, the better. There must be at least 1 guard on the guard space, otherwise see 333 in the Book of Scripts. Raise these characters' fatigue by 1. So this is the Book of Scripts right here. It basically has a description of everything and anything that can happen in this game. So this is what we're going to come back to a lot, so keep this nearby when you're playing this game. So yeah, we're going to have to put a guard on guard duty because we do not want to leave the shelter unguarded. And also there's also the scavenging. You can place up to 3 characters on the findings pile space to send them to the ruined city during the scavenging phase. The higher the inventory and prowess of a character, the better they will perform during the scavenging phase. Raise these characters' fatigue by 1. Okay, so that means you can put some characters here in the findings pile, and they'll go to one of these locations here and try to search for supplies, food, water, anything that you guys need. There are 3 different locations you can go to. There's a close, distant, and far location, and they'll have these numbers on the side. That's telling you how many of these exploration cards you can put into the unknown deck here. These exploration cards, the more you have, the more potential you have to finding supplies, but you can also run into residents, which could be good or bad people. There's also different obstacles like jammed doors, rubble in the way, just a bunch of different things that can happen. So so the more cards you get could be good or could be bad. There's also the one far away, which doesn't give you as many cards because it's far. You don't really know that area, so you don't spend as much time out there. Okay, so for this first one, we're gonna go to this close area, or close area, which is the city hospital. There's a lot of things you can do here. So if your character has any wounds, you can return 4 exploration cards to heal, and then you see 932 on the Book of Scripts here. But we don't need to do that since nobody's hurt right now. If you return 6 exploration cards, you can trade C303. The exploration cards is basically this number here, so we're going to start off with 14. So if we wanted to trade, we would just return 6 of those cards. Now when those 14 cards are done, that means that your characters are done scavenging and are going to head back to their shelter. But like we'll get to that in a bit. Each location has special findings, which when you're searching through certain cards here, like the findings cards, you get to roll a die, and depending on its number, it'll tell you which of these you can get. Right here at the top corner is going to tell you a few things that are going to be there. So there is going to be a closed door, which we can take a lockpick to try to open that. There's a basement entrance. That's just for exploration cards, which we'll get into if we run into that. And there's some bars. If we had a saw blade, we can take it with us to open those bars. There's also a little thing here that says return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. And then you look at that 746 on the Book of Scripts to see what you see around the area. So there's a lot of things that you can do in this game. There's a lot of different options you have. But for now, I think we're just going to have our characters go to the city hospital and just search. So I think that we're going to have... We'll have Marin and Bruno both go and search, and we'll have Marco stay guard here. So since none of them are sleeping and they're all out doing something, like they're scavenging and he's guarding, that means they're all going to get a fatigue 1. So again, with this one, there's 2 white circles here and 1 black circle, so that means still these characters are going to have 2 actions the next day. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the scavenging phase. We're going to choose a location, which we did. We're going to choose that city hospital. We're going to choose our equipment. If there are any weapons like a hatchet, knife, pistol, etc., or equipment like a lockpick, saw, or shovel in the storage, you may assign these tokens to the scavenging party. Place them on the findings pile space. You may also take any tokens from the storage for possible trade. So it looks like this area has a closed door. We could probably take one of these lock picks. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're going to take one of the lock picks and we'll just put it here in the findings pile. Basically, if your characters find any supplies while searching these locations, they're going to go into this findings pile. And after you do your night raid, that's when they bring back everything and put it into the storage. After you choose your equipment, you're going to set the noise marker. You're going to put that noise marker on the 1, which we already have here. Whenever the game tells you to raise or lower the noise, move the marker on the track up or down respectively. Whenever the game tells you to roll for noise, roll the black die. If the result is equal to or less than the current noise, an encounter is immediately triggered. Set noise to 1, and then draw and resolve the top card from the residence deck. After resolving the residence card, resume scavenging. You might still meet someone else. Alright, so now we're going to prepare the unknown deck and explore. Okay, so now we're going to explore. So we're going to take 14 cards from this deck here, so let's just shuffle it up a little. And right, so we're going to choose 14 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've got these 14 cards, and we're going to put them right here where it says unknown. We're going to put them there, and now we're going to explore. So the way you explore is that you take the first, draw the first card, and do what it says. So it says basement entrance, which there is a basement entrance. So it says, so let's just read out this card. Basically what you're going to do is just read the card from top to bottom and then do what it says. So right here it says map card, check the current location for basement entrance, which there is. So If there is no basement entrance, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. So basically, if there was no basement entrance, you would just put it here in the discard pile, and then you would draw another card from this deck here, which is the exploration deck. And right here is the unknown deck. But since there is, we're going to look at the other areas where it says, if there is a basement entrance, you may resolve this card immediately or place it on the exploration slot and resolve it later instead of drawing a new exploration card. So basically what that means is there's an exploration slot here, which is where you can save cards that'll have different abilities. But let's see what this one does. Basement entrance. Enter. Raise the noise by 3 and roll for the noise. After entering, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Also, you may discard this card during the scavenging to draw and resolve 2 findings cards instead of 1. Okay, yeah, we're going to do that. Let's raise the noise by 3 and then roll for noise. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So now we got to roll higher than a 4. If we get a 4 or lower, we're going to have to draw a card from this residence deck. So, oh boy. Oh man. Alright, well, looks like we got a 4. So that means we're going to have to draw a card from the residence deck. Civilian. It turns out that there are miserable looking people hiding in here, mostly the elderly, women, and children. Place this card on the exploration slot until you leave this location. Whenever you take anything from the exploration card marked as private, roll the black die and compare that result with the empathy of the characters present. As a result equal to or less than a character's empathy, raise their misery by 1. You may return 1 exploration card to talk to the civilians, see 123 in the Book of Scripts, or trade with them, see 993. At the end of scavenging, remove this card from the game. Okay, so what that basically means is that we're just going to put this card here in the exploration slot. Now, whenever we draw cards from this findings pile, there may be some cards that say private on the top corner, and that means that if we take anything from, if we take supplies from that card, then that means we're basically stealing from these civilians, and so we have to roll the black die to see if our characters feel more miserable about stealing from the civilians. We can also talk or trade with them, but it doesn't look like we have much to trade. But we don't really have much to trade since we only have that lockpick. So I don't think we'll trade with them. But I am kind of curious to talk with them. I've never really done that, actually. Usually when I play this game, I kind of just ignore the civilians. But you know what? Yeah, let's talk to them. So we're going to return 1 exploration card, which means you take 1 card from the unknown deck and return it to the exploration deck. And now we're going to look at 123 on the Book of Scripts. Alright, so here we are at 123. We rest sitting on some rubble. Sometimes you need to sit quietly for some time before you finally feel like talking again. Roll the black die. Oh boy. Wait. We can also share our food and meds. Oh, we don't have any. During this encounter, you cannot perform the talk to action more than once. Okay, so let's roll the die. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we got an 8. Let's see. On the result of 8 to 9, see 8, 5, 3. Alright, let's check that out. Okay, so we have 853 right here. They argue among themselves. Some are full of hope, others completely without it. We listen to their tales about what has happened over the last few days, along with their gossip about what might happen tomorrow or in the near future. Take a peek at the top card from the events deck and then go back to the game. Oh, okay. Alright, so now we're going to grab the top card from the events and then we're going to look at it. Bad news. So it looks like everybody's misery is going to go by 1, and we're going to have to add 1 cold to the cold space. Okay. Well, let's hope their misery doesn't go up too much during this part. before we draw the next card of the exploration, I forgot that for the basement entrance, we were supposed to add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. So let's do that. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have these 5 cards. Put them on the unknown deck. Let's see, what else were we supposed to do? Also, you may discard this card during the scavenging to draw and resolve 2 finding cards instead of 1. Oh, cool. Okay. Let's go on to the next exploration, the next card in the unknown deck. Oh no, reality impact. This can be good or bad. Something unexpected has happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then check the number with that color on the exploration chart on this location's card. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Okay, so let's do this one by one. Alright, so we're going to draw a card from the colors deck. So that's the colors deck over there. Let's grab that. Let's give it a good shuffle first because this is going to be kind of important. Alright, you know what? Okay, well, we're good with that. So we're gonna, alright, so the color is blue. So we've drawn a card from the colors deck and we determined that the color is blue. Check the number with that color on the exploration chart of this location's card. So we're gonna get the location card and we're gonna look at the this bottom left area that says exploration, and we're gonna look at the blue circle and it says 809. So what we're going to do is grab the book of scripts and then go to 809 and read what it says there. Alright, so there's 809. A woman's cry for help drew us to the hospital. Her voice was decisive, without fear or hysteria. There's no protocol for saving a life in the middle of a war. There's no time to wait and follow rules. Every second counts. A young nurse runs out from the infirmary at the end of the corridor. Without waiting for a response, she drags us into the room. An older man lies in the bed. His eyes are open, but he's barely conscious. His heart is failing. I've got to run to assist in another procedure. Wait here for an hour and give him adrenaline if he collapses. Thank you. And with those demands, the nurse runs out of the room. We're sorry, Grandpa, but the adrenaline can help someone a little younger than you or one of us. Goodbye. C1377. We'll wait here as long as we can. Return 3 exploration cards or the rest if you have fewer cards left, and then C129. Oh man. So okay, well, I'm the kind of person that will foolishly help people, even though I know that sometimes you've got to make those tough decisions. So I am going to return the 3 exploration cards. Besides, we seem to have a lot right now. So 1, 2, 3, and looks like we're going to look at 129. So let's do that. Okay, 129. The old man was so thrilled with our company that he totally forgot about his ailing heart. He told us stories about his life and relatives until the nurse returned. Grandpa, you aren't boring them, are you? I see he didn't need the adrenaline after all. Incredible. Please, take this as a way of thanking you for your help. Thank you for not running. So we can add 1 raw food to the findings pile. Nice. Okay. We'll take the raw food and put it in the findings pile. And it seems like there was more. Here we are, 129. Roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. A result that is equal to or lower than a character's empathy, lower their misery by 1. Oh, okay, so I guess we don't have to do that because nobody's miserable right now. So we go right back to the game. Oh, I forgot this a little earlier, but since we did draw a residence card, we have to lower our noise level back down to 1. So we did that. Now let's draw the next unknown card. Tough luck. Roll for the noise. Okay. As long as we don't get a 1, we should be good. We got a 9. Okay, good. Alright, so now we'll draw the next unknown card. So this is closed door. We do have a closed door on the location, so pick the lock, requires a lock pick, return 1 exploration card and roll the black die, and a result 5 to 10, discard a lock pick and the door opens. Yeah, let's do that. So let's use our lock pick. Or, well, let's try to use a lock pick, and let's roll this black die. Hopefully we get a 5 to 10. Nice, we got a 6. Cool. Alright, so that means we get to, we use up the lockpick because, yeah, once you use a lockpick, it does get discarded. So that means we get to open the door. So after opening, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck, draw and resolve 1 findings card, the furniture chart, then discard this closed door card. Alright, so first let's add the 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got these 5 cards. We put them on top here. Then we'll draw and resolve 1 findings card from the furniture chart. But let's do this. We can discard this card during scavenging to draw and resolve 2 finding cards instead of 1. So we're going to have 2 finding cards. And we're going to only be able to search the furniture side. So we'll flip these. Looks like these don't have any private. So that means we're not stealing from the civilians. But we are going to look at these little furniture areas. So let's go with this first card here. So we're going to get a vegetable, a weapon part, and a shell. So we got the vegetable, weapon part, and the shell here. We're going to put them in the findings area. And then we're going to roll the black die to see if we're going to get any of the special findings. So let's roll. We got a 2. And yeah, that's nothing. As you can see right here, we roll a 1 to 3. That's nothing. That sucks. But after that, let's see. Yeah, see, it says, then roll a black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. Okay, let's put it on top and we'll shuffle in a second. So for this one, we get vegetables, herb, and bandages. Ooh, bandages? Nice. Okay, so we have the herb, vegetables, and the bandages here. That was actually a really good find. So then we're going to roll the black die to see if we get any of the special findings. Oh, alright, well we got a 3, which again is nothing. So, what does it say here? Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. Okay, there are, it is important that you read the whole card because sometimes there are cards that say discard it from the game. Even though most of them do say shuffle them back, there are a few that say discard, so you got to pay attention to that. Alright, so let's draw the next card here. And, oh man, another reality impact. Actually, this reminds me of something. We never did read the bottom part of this other reality impact we had drawn. So it says, afterwards, place this card under the current location card. When that location is removed from the game, shuffle this reality impact card back into the exploration deck. Oh, okay. So we're going to put this under the city hospital. And once the city hospital is removed from the game, we can shuffle that reality impact back into the exploration deck here. Okay, so now let's read this second reality impact card that we drew. So something unexpected has happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then draw a card from the exploration deck and check the number with that color. Oh, this one's a little different. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Alright, so let's let's get this colors deck back here, and let's just shuffle that up. And so let's check this out. Alright, the color is gray. So now we're going to have to draw a card from the exploration deck here. We'll flip that over, and we'll look for the gray area. So we're going to look for 27 in the Book of Scripts. Okay, so here's 27. A group of angry civilians barges into the building, dragging some man along with them. The man is unconscious, and all we see are his shoes sliding across the floor. They drag him up against the wall and throw him on the ground. They are making a surprising amount of noise. We sneak up on them to see what's going on. Only then do we notice the man is a soldier. He was one of those who got stuck with us during the siege. His face is now so beaten it's hard to recognize who he actually is. We're too close. They'll spot us. Either we retreat or we step out of hiding. We retreat quietly back to the game. What's this about? We ask as we step from our cover. See 1227. Oh man. So it's a soldier? Dang. Usually the soldiers, I don't know, the soldiers are, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. It really is just, it just all really is random. Let's see, what did it say about him? He was one of those who got stuck with us during the siege. I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to do the whole, like, us stepping out of our cover. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's go with 1227. This is probably going to end badly, but I'm kind of curious. I really want to know what's going on here. Okay, so it says 1227. We got him a few blocks from here. He was with his buddy, but his pal got away, says a tall, grim-looking man as he searches the soldier's pockets. What's he to you? We're going to kill him, but first we're going to make him suffer. If it makes you feel better, we leave them, victim and executioner alike. We've had enough of this ceaseless cycle of death and revenge. Back to the game. Don't be like them. We try to convince them to not kill the soldier. Okay, I guess I'll be a good guy. 507. Okay. Choose one character present, roll the black die. A result that is equal to or lower than their empathy, see 1392. A result that is higher than their empathy, see 1843. Oh, man. Okay, so, alright, we'll go with Bruno since he has the lower empathy. He has an empathy of 2. So maybe we can get a little higher. I don't know if that's good or bad. So we got a 7. So that means it's higher than his empathy. So it looks like we're going to look at 1843. Alright, so 1843. These people were so furious and vengeful that they weren't even listening. We only made them angrier, and then they directed their anger at us. They had no idea why we'd want to save the life of the soldier. We didn't want to fight them, so we backed off and got back to minding our own business. The pain and loss experienced over the preceding months was too much for these people, and now they'd found an outlet for it. The soldier will pay the price with both his suffering and his life. If only we could kill our worst enemy, our real enemy, the enemy behind all of this, hatred and war. Go back to the game. Well, dang. Looks like they just killed the guy. Alright, well, that poor soldier, but I mean, yeah, that does happen. Wow, that was pretty it's pretty rough right there. So I guess we discard this reality impact here. Let's go to the next exploration card in the unknown deck. So we may ignore this card or search the pantry. Now right here it does say private. We have those civilians, so if we steal from them, we're gonna gain some misery. So we're gonna ignore this card. We're just gonna discard it, and then we're gonna draw another card. You may ignore this card or search the furniture. Return 2 exploration cards or raise a noise by 1 and roll for the noise. To draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck, the furniture chart. So let's return the 2 exploration cards. We have a lot, so we'll return these 2, and we'll. Oh, I don't think I shuffled these from the last time I searched. So yeah, there we go. Now we're gonna do findings, furniture. So we get book, chems, and herbal meds. So here we have the herbal meds, the book, and the chems. We'll put them in the findings pile here. And then we're going to roll the black die to see if we get anything from the special findings. Looks like we got a 6. Yeah, 6. So let's see what that gets us. It looks like a 6 will get us, 2 chems. Okay. So we're going to get these 2 chems, and we're going to put them in the findings pile here. So then it says afterwards shuffle this card back into the findings pile. Okay, we'll do that. And that'll be it here for this one. So we'll just discard that. Let's shuffle this before we do anything else so we don't forget. Whoops. Alright, put that in the findings. And now let's draw the next unknown card. Stairs up. Look for another way. Return 2 exploration cards. Or enter, raise the noise by 2 and roll for the noise. Oh man, our noise is already up at 6. You know what? And we already have a lot of stuff. Oh, we have a lot of cards too. Let's just return 2 exploration cards. Okay, so now we'll draw the next unknown card. Open space. There is no card there is no open space in this location. So it says, if there's no open space, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. So, yeah, we'll discard this and draw a new card from the exploration deck. You may ignore this card or poke about, return 1 exploration card or roll for noise. To choose 1 finding from the special findings chart for this location. Oh, let's just roll for noise. Oh, actually, no, I kind of don't want to roll for noise. So we'll return 1 exploration. So now we can choose any of these things here. We probably want those bandages because those are really good, and if you get wounds, bandages are the only way to get that off. So yeah, we'll get the bandages. So we've got the bandages here. We're going to put them here in the findings pile. Put that there. Alright, so now we'll draw another card for the unknown deck. And let's see. You may ignore this card or return 2 exploration cards to save it and use it anytime during this scavenging phase. Hiding place. After rolling for the noise, you may discard this card to ignore an encounter, do not draw a residence card, or perform a backstab. See journal combat sheet for description. Oh, this is pretty good. Okay. If we return 2 exploration cards, we still have 2 more. Yeah, let's return 2 exploration cards. And let's see for these last 2 cards, let's see if what we can get. Alright, so let's draw the next card. And rubble, this doesn't have any rubble. So it says if there is no rubble, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. So discard exploration deck. Stairs down, look for another way, return 3 exploration cards, or enter, raise the noise by 3 and roll for the noise. Yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Let's roll for the noise. Oh my goodness, we actually got an 8. Wow. I guess we don't do anything. Alright, so now we'll draw the last card. Ignore this card or search the heap. Return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1. Or raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. We'll do that. Oh, right. To draw and resolve one card from the findings deck, the heap chart. So I guess we'll raise. Sorry, we'll raise the noise by 1, and then we'll roll for noise. We got a 3, which normally we would get a residence card, but we're gonna discard this card here. After rolling for noise, you may discard this card to ignore an encounter. Do not draw a residence card. So, yeah, we're gonna do that. We'll discard this. We don't have to get a residence, but we do lower our noise to 1, and we get to search the heap. So we get a findings card, we go to heap, and it says we get ammo, chems, and we get to roll the black die. Alright, so we got the ammo and the chems here. We're going to put that in the findings pile. Wow, we got a lot of stuff. And we're going to roll the black die. So here we go. So it looks like we got a, oh no. Oh, there it is. Okay, it looks like we got a 6. And a 6 is 2 chems. So we got 2 chems here. We're going to just put them there. And then it says shuffle this card back into the findings pile. Alright. So we'll do that now. So that ends the scavenging phase because there's no more cards in the unknown deck. So after that, you're going to choose findings. Once you finish the exploration, shuffle all exploration and resident cards into their decks. Now, if we remember this residence card at the bottom says, at the end of scavenging, remove this card from the game. So instead of shuffling this back in, we're going to remove this from the game. And we are going to get the exploration cards and just shuffle them back together. We are going to leave the reality impact under the city hospital because we still haven't discarded that location. So if we do end up discarding that location, then the reality impact card will come back to the exploration deck. So it says at this moment you may add as many resources, wood, components, and water to the findings pile as you wish. We'll look at that in a second because we got to see how much stuff we have that weighs anything. As you can see right here, it says you can bring back a total weight of tokens / resources, including the equipment and weapons you brought with you, equal to the total inventory of all characters taking part of the in this scavenging. So both Bruno and Marin have 3 inventories, so that means that we can take up to 6 items that equal a total of 6 weight. The weight of heavy tokens is shown with that icon. If a token does not have that icon, its weight is 0. Each one resource, water, wood, component weighs 1. Everything you cannot carry and have to leave behind is discarded. Characters with their findings will make their way back to the shelter in the dawn phase. Before that, the night raid occurs, and then pass the book to the next player. So at this point, let me look through this pile here and see what actually weighs, what has some weight to it, which will limit how much we can carry back. So give me a second here. Okay, so it looks like the only things that weighed anything were the weapon parts and the raw food. So they both weigh 1, which means, so that takes up 2 inventory space. Now we have our characters that have a total of 6 inventory spaces, so we can have 4 wood, 4 components, or 4 water in any combination we want. I'm definitely going to take 3 water, so that way each character has water for the next day. Looks like we have more, actually we have an equal amount of wood and components, so let's just take wood for just for the sake of it. So let's, yeah, we'll just take wood. So we put the wood and the water in the findings pile. So we're going to leave them there for now because we're going to have to do the night raid now. Now, I probably should have mentioned this before during the setup portion. At the start of the game, when you're shuffling your residence cards, you're also going to want to look through them to see if they have this exclamation point in the top right corner. You take out the ones that have those exclamation points and put them off to the side. Also, you do that for the night raid as well. They also have the exclamation point. Just put those off to the side of the board for now. You will add them in a bit, but for the beginning of the game, you just use the ones without the exclamation points. Okay, so at this point, we're going to do the night raid. So you can choose a weapon for the guard. We don't have any weapons right now, so looks like he's just going to go in with his bare hands. So we're going to do the night raid. Draw and resolve the top card of the night raid's deck. Alright, so what we're going to do is draw this card. So we're going to be facing Starving People, damage, 4 tokens / resources, starting with green tokens, wounds 1. So now what this means is that they're going to take 4 of your tokens or resources, starting with the green tokens. It looks like the only green token we have is this sugar here, but then they're just going to keep taking basically any other tokens and resources that you have. And also it says wounds 1. That means that they're going to inflict 1 wound on your character if they can't block it. So at this point now the guard has to roll their combat die. So there's 3 different die. One of them is the unarmed dice, which shows you a couple little fists here and there. So whenever you roll one of these little fists, that's going to block either a damage, or it's either going to block a wound, or you can use it to block some of the resources or tokens that are taken. Okay, so at this point, our guard is going to roll this die. Okay, so now we're going to roll this die and see what we get. He doesn't get anything, so Marco has a prowess of 2, so he can re-roll twice. So we'll do this. This will be the first re-roll. Okay, that's not good. That's the same exact thing. Alright, let's do one last re-roll. Okay, so it looks like he was able to block at least one thing. So we can either choose to block that 1 wound, or we can make it so they only take 3 tokens instead of 4, and we still take that wound. I really don't. Yeah, you know what? We do have bandages to make sure the wound is okay, but we really don't want to just waste them like that. I also don't want to give up my shovel. Okay, yeah, you know what? Okay, we're gonna block one of these tokens that they're gonna take. So they're only gonna take 3 tokens, and they're gonna do 1 wound to Marco. So he's gonna get a wounds 1, and so he's still gonna have 2 actions. They're gonna take 3 of our tokens, starting with the green. So they're gonna take the sugar. We'll have them take the weapon part and the lockpick. So that's 3 tokens there. We'll keep the shovel here, and then at that point it says afterwards remove this card from the game. So we're going to remove this card. So after that we're going to move on to the crime wave phase. Also, I forgot to mention, there's little holes here throughout the board. If you have board ups to cover up these holes, that will also subtract to the number of wounds and resources that the people from the night raid take. It's pretty handy to have those board ups because they also help you out with those cold tokens. They make it so it's less cold in there. So yeah, building board ups is a good idea. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that this first day, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So okay, now at this point we go to crime wave. With each passing night, the situation is getting more grim. So during setup, night raid and residence card with the red corner were set aside. If there are any of these cards left, shuffle 2 cards in any combination, night raid or residence, into their corresponding decks without looking at their fronts. Then you go to the next player. I'm gonna go with 2 residents because I don't want my night raids to get worse. I mean, they are eventually, but at this point, I'll make it so the residence cards are a little worse. So I'm just shuffling these in there. Okay, we'll put that there. Now we move on to the dawn phase. The scavenging party returns. Move all of the characters in the scavenging party into the shelter and place all the tokens / resources they brought into the storage. We'll assign meds and bandages. If there are any meds, herbal meds, bandages in the storage, you may assign them to the ill or wounded by placing them on the chosen character's cards, and then we'll have to draw a fate card. Okay, so let's start doing all that. So the scavenging party returns. We'll just put them here in the little guard area. We'll put all of their tokens over here. I'll do that real quick. Okay, so now that we've got everything here in the storage area, we can start assigning meds and bandages. Since Marco did take a wound, we are going to put the bandages on him. So we'll put the bandages on his character card. Now we're going to draw a fate card, so let's go grab that. So we got our fate deck right here. Let's just give that a quick shuffle. Okay, now we're going to draw a card. All right, let's look at this. So it says raise the wounds of all wounded unbandaged characters by 1. So we have bandages on Marco, so we don't have to raise his wounds. And the other characters don't have any wounds, so we don't have to worry about them. Lower the illness of all characters who took meds by 1. Nobody took any meds. Discard med tokens from all characters. Okay, so nobody took meds, so we don't have to worry about that. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 2 or more, raise the illness of 2 chosen characters by 1. We didn't take care of those wound tokens, so it looks like 2 of our characters are going to get illness 1. Okay, so you know what? We'll give them to Bruno and Marin. They'll get the illnesses. Let's see now. Exchange the nearest small location. If there is none, exchange the nearest medium location. So what that means is on the bottom corner here, it's going to tell you large, medium, small. Looks like we have these 2 are large and this one is a medium. Since there is no small location, exchange the nearest medium location, which is this one here. So we're going to discard this card and we're just going to grab another location, which will be the small apartment building. Looks like this is a small. So we're going to put that there. Now if another location card, like say one of these 2 had been taken out, we would take them out and then move everything down. Sorry. So this far location would be empty. Then when we draw the new location, we would put that up here in the far location. But since coincidentally the card that we removed was already the far location, we didn't have to move anything around. Okay, so now we look to see what else we have to do. Resolve weight tokens, which we don't have any, so that's fine. We can ignore that. Resolve Spirit B on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. So alright, we're going to put this back into the Fate deck. Just shuffle this up. So we're resolving Spirit B. So what that means is that you're going to look at the character cards and you're going to look for Spirit B. So for him, if Marco is ill, lower his illness by 1. We should have put an illness on him. Oh well. We didn't do that, so that's fine. Now we'll look at our next character, who is Marin, Spirit B. Have it. Discard 1 coffee from the storage or raise Marin's misery by 1. Looks like we didn't get any coffee, so we're going to raise his misery by 1. So this one says he still gets all 3 of his actions, but since the other status tokens have a black circle, it means he can only still take those 2 actions. So he's going to get his misery 1, and we're going to put that under his character card. Alright, now we're going to look at Bruno. Bruno Spirit B. If Bruno is hungry, level 2 or 3, raises misery by 1. He is at hunger 3, so that means we have to raise his misery by 1. So we're going to get this misery 1 token, and we're just going to put it under Bruno's character card. So after we've done the fate card, we're going to go to the narrative action card. So we draw 2 narrative action cards, read them, choose one, and shuffle the other back into its deck. Then the next player will go. So let's grab that deck for the narrative actions. Let's draw 2 cards, and then we'll get to choose one of those 2. So we got our narrative actions here. We're just going to give that a little shuffle. And we'll take the top 2 cards here, and we're going to look at them. So we have Rumors. Play at any time. Take a look at the top card from any 2 of the following decks: Events, Visitors, Residents, and Night Raids. Or Night Raids. Then we have Resourceful. Play when crafting any fitting. Ignore the requirement for one of the resources / token types. Oh, that's not bad. It's going to be pretty good to be able to see what's coming, but I also kind of want to build stuff this turn. So you know what? We're going to take Resourceful, and we're going to put Rumors back into the narrative action deck, and we're just going to shuffle that around. And we'll put this back over in its little section over there. So if we had any alcohol, it may be used before or after resolving a fate card. Discard it from the storage. If it's a moonshine, we raise one character's fatigue by 2 and then lower their misery by 1. If it's 100% alcohol, we raise one character's fatigue by 1 and lower their misery by 1. Also, at the end of the dawn phase, check if any character died or abandoned the group today. If the answer is yes, roll the black die and compare the result with each character's empathy. On a result equal to or less than their empathy, raise their misery by 2. So luckily no one has died or left the group, so we don't have to do that. And we don't have any alcohol, so we don't have to worry about giving them any alcohol. At this point, you can choose to save your game, because then now you're going to have to start another day, which is you're going to grab another event card and then just repeat this whole process over again. So they give you this save sheet here, which is basically just a picture of this board here, and you just write down which cards are in which spaces. Of course, you have the furniture, rubble, closed door, all that stuff, but if you start building certain things and you put them in these areas, you are able to write where they are at, just so you can keep track of where everything is. There's also the storage times 5, so you can keep track of how many components and wood you have. Notes, you can write any notes that you have. Usually before I used to write the things I had in my storage over here in this notes area, but now I just kind of use one of the baggies that they provide you, and I just put everything in that bag, and basically I'm like, okay, these are the resources I have for my game, so I'm going to do that. You can also keep track of your characters and their stats. Yeah, I just write their names and what level their stats are at. You also can write down the locations that you have out, so you can keep track of them there. And yeah, so I'm gonna fill this out, but so yeah, this will be the first day of this game. I will come back to it and play the second day on a separate video. So I guess technically this is my first like campaign game I'm playing, or a game where I'm gonna play the rounds through different videos. So yeah, get ready for a few of those, because I've got a couple more of those coming. I'm probably going to make it harder for myself to do too many of them at the same time, but nah, you know what? I'll try to keep it to just 2 campaign games at a time. So I'll play this one. I think the other one, I don't know. I'll decide. I'll decide and we'll find out together. So yeah, this is how you play this war of mine. I will continue the next day in another video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. There are a few other things that we need to learn about, but we'll probably get into them on the second video. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and keep playing board games, guys. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.